Stray dog dilemma is a polarizing one in the country. It is a conflict between animal welfare and public safety concerns. In fact, I'm joined by several residents of Bandra. Some of them are animal activists, some of them are animal lovers and regular citizens as well. There are going to be divided views as far as this entire issue is concerned. I'll come to you first. In fact, before that, let me come to you because you're an animal activist. You have tons and tons of animals who you feed on a daily basis, right? Tell me, ma'am, as an animal lover, as a feeder, there is a lot of discussion going on about is the feeding done in a structured way? Is it causing a lot of problems in the society? Tell us your views.
Sometimes, yes, a lot of people do object that don't feed them here, don't feed them there. And most of the time, we are using precautions like we are using bowls, and there's nothing left so that it is dirty or whatever. And I don't know why people have objection. Just one meal giving them, like they cause a lot of problems to feeders. I have been facing I see people spitting on the road, I see people doing a lot of other things on the road, but that is not a problem. But feeding an animal, making him safe, making him feel safe is a very big problem. I don't know why people have that problem.
All right. People have objections to feeding. Ma'am, you were saying that feeding must be done in a more structured way. Do you think, there is lack of awareness? What is it that you feel in terms of achieving a balance between welfare and public safety?
I'm an animal lover,
Yeah.
okay, please don't get me wrong. But I do think there can be better ways of feeding them. And I've seen them in different parts of the city itself in Bombay. There is a very lovely dog park in Mulund. It's a public space, but it is for animals. So, you feed them in a place which is for animals. I don't think any residents will have an objection. The problem is feeding them in residential areas, in public spaces. Now, all of them may not be as aware as our friend here, but there's a lady who comes and feeds dogs by the promenade, and she just dumps everything and she goes. Now, then the crows come, then you have other rodents come. So we have a problem with rodents, we have the problem with crows, and we have the problem with dogs. So we're not anti-dog, but the way in which it is managed. And I think, if the city could use, they have so many open spaces, it can't be the road. Definitely cannot be the road. It can be a park. There are so many parks here. Keep one, dogs are also creatures of God. They need to ease themselves and the like. But you can't do them with stray dogs. But even private, pet dogs that are at home, not all of them scoop after their dogs. And it is today when I was walking to this place, I saw doggy poo right in front of my gate, and I'm also, pissed off. Sorry for the word, but I was.
You're also an animal lover, ma'am. My question really is, as she's saying, perhaps there must be designated spaces for dogs to feed them. Do you agree? And is there a lack of awareness, like I've been pointing out? And this unstructured way of feeding, is it leading to, what one may call a stray dog menace?
Yeah, so the reality is that right now stray dogs are part of our ecosystem in India, and it's our moral duty to care for them in a humane way. According to Rule 20 of the Animal Birth Control Rules of 2023, the feeding of animals in public spaces is legal. So the people in our community who are feeding the dogs are actually doing us a service in a way because it's making the dogs friendlier and less aggressive. So right now the way to control the stray dog population in a humane way is TNVR, which is trap, vaccinate, neuter, and return. So, to do that, feeding is a means for that. That's why even the Bangalore civic body, the BBMP, has said that they're launching a feeding initiative. And even in Bombay, the High Court has stopped societies from barring their residents from feeding dogs. So, there's a reason behind all of this. The feeding just has to be done in a safe and structured way. So, that involves like set times, designated areas away from where the public is, away from where children play. If it's done in the presence of people who know how to handle these animals, the feeders, the vets, the sterilizers, then it's actually a step in the right direction to create a safer space for not only our human citizens but also our furry friends.
Right.
So while people have concerns because they're scared, I understand that, but like everyone else has said, their animals are also creatures of God and also deserve to be treated in a way that involves a lot of care.
Right. And in terms of these actions that need to be taken, how can civic body really help? Because looks like there is, not much being done in terms of sterilization, vaccination. Are these even being done? A survey of dogs.
Yes. We need to have an organization where people are we give forth everybody participates, and at the same time the government also includes itself and helps the citizens to make it a little more structured, to make rules, regulations as to whether if you're feeding an animal, you have to make sure you have a team who's making sure that litter is not left behind and it's not creating a menace for the people around. So I think organization is the only way, is one of the best ways, I feel.
Right. Ma'am, your opinion, ma'am. I'm guessing you're also an animal lover.
Yes, I'm an animal lover.
And how do you think a balance can be achieved, considering this is a very polarizing subject right now? And also about the Supreme Court observations as well. Feed them in their house, feed them in your house, is what Supreme Court told that petitioner.
Okay, feeding these are stray community animals that we feed. And they all have their dogs and cats are very territorial. So it's not possible that I'm going to bring all of them home and feed them.
Yeah.
I have to feed them in their territory,
Yeah.
which we are doing.
Yeah.
If we're giving them at least one nutritious meal a day,
Yeah.
and imagine if they were all hungry without water, what their condition would be. Imagine a human who's not had food for 4 days. He's going to be out killing somebody or snatching somebody's food. So we are trying to avoid that. We need help from the BMC or the government, in the sense that we need help where sterilization and vaccinations are concerned.
That's the
We
most
need
important thing.
we need a one-point contact or a department. So when we call them up and we say, okay, we have 5 dogs in X area to be neutered, sterilized, okay, or vaccinated, we want them available. As of now, I have no idea whom to contact. So we feeders are vaccinating them, neutering them, feeding them all from our own pocket
And
money.
it is an expensive thing to neuter them. I have neutered at least more than 30 cats by now. Sometimes there are government vehicles, BMC does neuter dogs, but not cats at all. And cats multiply like every year. They have at least their litters like 3 to 4 cats, and that is like the population of the cats is increasing day by day by day, and the government needs to, it is an expensive affair. So if we are removing from our pocket, like every month I have a certain budget, so we are using that budget to neuter either 2 cats, 3 cats, and that too there are some nice very good beds. They make it little less, and then we can afford that. But if the government comes up with this thing, like at least in all the areas, they neuter all the dogs, they neuter all the cats, it'll become really good. It'll this problem will start decreasing a lot.
Ma'am, do
I
you
just
agree?
want to add
Yeah,
a
yeah,
point here. I think, in recent years, they're not as active. In between, they were, and they were neutering animals.
Yes.
The very fact that the stray dog population from 300 million has come down to 62 million as of 22. So there is a considerable drop in the number of stray dogs. The only thing is the programs have been put in place, like she mentioned, that there has to be a one-point contact for people to call so that they come pick it up. Those days we used to have those dog vans, and the dogs would recognize those vans and run. But now we don't see them anymore.
And what's leading to menace? A lot of people are saying that it's as a result of, this unstructured feeding anywhere, everywhere. Is that what leads to the so-called menace, or, dog bites and so on? What is?
I don't think so. That is not the major problem. The major problem is these dogs have not been fed. There are, see, certain areas like people like here. They like if you go to Kurla and all these places, there the people are hitting the dogs, and imagine they are hungry any which ways. They are thirsty, and after that they've not been given a basic necessity which is food. So how are they going to react? So naturally they are going to get like little violent.
When they're not fed is when
Yes, yes,
they
yes.
turn violent. So, tell us how a balance can be achieved as
Right.
far as, dog feeding is concerned. There is this whole debate between human welfare, citizen safety, and animal welfare.
Right. So I was working with some of these people here recently in a very nice social cause, and as a practicing lawyer, I had to leave midway. But I did some research, and the World Health Organization has said that stray dogs are a menace they can bite, they can cause disease. But overall, I feel we need to reach a balance where the statistics which the World Health Organization has said that over 300 million dogs are being mistreated just because one or two odd dogs will bite. So there is an innovative way where citizens can come together, brainstorm, reach a solution where we can maintain hygiene, we can maintain the health and safety of the dogs, and we can also keep an amicable solution so that the societies can propose measures so that there is a win-win situation on both sides.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for talking.